Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy Jay Reed coming at you with another episode of Sports Blitz Media. Now, today we have the privilege and honor of introducing and interviewing a young student athlete from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, Jacob De Jesus. Jacob plays running back, wide receiver. He also does kick return and punt return. So, what I like to call an athlete, someone who's all around, versatile, and with the ball in his hand, very dynamic. Now, Jacob's about to enter the chat. We're about to get to talk about some football, how his first season at UNLV went, and some of the expectations and some things that he looks forward to. We just want to talk and highlight some of the things that he did this year, and again, ask him his goals and things that he looks forward to in the next
Hello,
season.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing really good, man. Really good.
Man, hope you're having a good New Year so far. Just ended the first month, so I hope everything's going good with you, the family. You know, everything's being healthy, especially with the on the off season.
Yeah, definitely everything's going good right now, man. We just had a little minor inconvenience that happened to us last week on Monday. We got into actually a really bad car accident.
Oh man, I'm
But
sorry to hear that,
luckily
man.
nobody was hurt. Nobody was injured. My daughter and my fiance were both in the car, but luckily, somebody ran a red light and hit us. But thank God we were all okay and everything like that. But
Man,
other than that, this month has been going pretty well. Blessed.
right, blessed, hey, to say the least, man. And I'm sorry to hear that. Hope everything gets taken care of smoothly, and happy to hear that you and the family are okay. Most definitely.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Heck yeah. So yeah, man. Again, this is something I've been wanting to do. You know, a little sports media podcast where I can highlight young athletes from small towns such as yourself and I, because we're from the same city, and
Yep.
people who know about the grind, especially the football grind, because we all know it's not easy. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I played football for 15 years of my life. Went to Grambling State University, tried to
Hmm.
make it happen there, but I became a young father early. So, but in that process, again, the grind of football and having a family and things of that nature isn't easy. So I wanted to highlight you, the things that you were able to accomplish this year in your first season at UNLV.
Hmm.
Stepping on a D1 divisions field with all eyes are on you, and trying to make a name for yourself. So kind of let's tell us about that a little bit, kind of your upbringing, and what got you to UNLV.
Yeah. I feel like growing up, I was all playing football ever since I was young, man. Since I was 6 years old, and I was always, feel like I shined pretty well at football. It was my favorite sport by far. I did play basketball and baseball as well, but football just was different, man. I had a different love for the game of football, and growing up, I was like always pretty good, but I never, was always underestimated and stuff. You know how it is coming from a
Yep.
small, town and being, the size that I am. Is really hard, um, but going to high school at Manteca High, I feel like really helped me like shape my game and stuff like that. They taught me, like how to really work hard and stuff like that. Manteca High is a very good football program, and I'm just thankful for my time there. But even going and leading into my senior year at Manteca High, I didn't really have any offers, coming out of high school or anything like that. And I also had a baby girl coming on the way, which was really tough. I didn't know if I was going to even continue to play football once I got that news. But I had really supportive parents all my life. I wouldn't be able to do anything without the people who raised me, my mom and my dad. Very supportive people, and they allowed me to still continue to play football at MJC while I having a baby. And but yeah, coming out of high school, I had no offers, so I decided, I'm gonna take a chance on myself and go the JUCO route, go to MJC, and I think that was one of the best decisions I ever made because when I got to MJC, you know how it is in JUCO. You meet a lot of the same people from the 209 that you've been playing against, or yeah, you heard of that were really good, and
Yep.
now you guys are all on the same team, so it was pretty cool. But that's where you learn to separate yourself, and because at that level everyone's pretty good, all the, like I said, all the stars from high school and everything like that coming to one spot. So that's when hard work comes in, and you have to really separate yourself working harder than the people next to you, and just wanting it bad. That was the biggest thing for me. I never gave up on myself, and even after my second year of junior college, I earned JUCO All American, and I still had no coaches knocking on my door or anything like that, which I thought was crazy. I was like, I thought I
Right.
did everything that I had to do, And all it took is one coach to give you the chance, and that was
That one
Coach
phone
Dale
call, man.
Alexander from UNLV. He took a chance on me. He ended up giving me an offer. It was my only FBS offer coming out of junior college, and it was my only full ride scholarship offer coming out of junior college. So I'm just thankful for that. I think a big thanks to that is to my parents and also to God, man. Without God, none of this would have been able to be possible, because just to see where I came from, man, like, you know, having a kid coming out of high school, I had to work at UPS while still playing football, and just I would just pray to him, get down on my hands and knees and pray, to give me a shot at the next level. And he ultimately just is the one that did it for me, man.
Right, man. Hey, that is awesome to hear, man. 100%, because having a baby, trying to work and sustain a little bit,
Hmm.
bring some money in, it's not easy. And so,
Yeah.
I give you a round of applause to that, man. Stepping up to the plate, doing what you had to do, but also continuing to chase your dreams. A lot of
Hmm.
guys have that baby, start working, and they get complacent. They
Yeah.
they they kind of start giving up on that grind, on that. They're like, well, shoot, I got to take care of the kid, or so.
Yeah.
It is a testament to you and how your parents raised you for you to get to where you are, man. So good
Yeah.
job to that.
It was definitely hard, and I feel like, just like you said, like when people have a baby, they get a job and they start working, and it starts, this is they looks like that's gonna be life, but
Right.
I didn't like it. I was like, honestly, like, now I wouldn't say I was like too depressed, but I was like looking at myself like, man, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to just work, like this. I mean, I know that there's gonna be a life after football where I'm gonna have to work, but I feel like
Right.
I wasn't ready for it yet. I felt like I was destined for greater things, and just, but I kept
Didn't
my
want to
head
leave
down.
everything on the table still.
Yeah,
It's just,
exactly.
what I'm saying? You don't want to
And
have
I
that
was,
unknown where you're like, man, if I would have
yeah,
just stuck it out, and look where you are
exactly.
now. You stuck it out, you went through the grind, now you're
Yeah.
at UNLV. And from what I've seen, from watching some of your guys' games, even just looking at your guys' number and even your numbers,
Hmm.
the moment you stepped on the field, game one against Bryant, you kind of made your presence known. I mean, a
Hmm.
96-yard kick return, that man would love to take it to the house, but
Yeah.
even just making a first impression like that. I mean, obviously off season, the training camps and things of that nature where you guys are out there grinding, but being able to show your coaches, yo, when this ball's in my hand, I'm dynamic. I can make things
Yeah.
happen with it.
Hmm.
And again, very first game. Tell us about your very first game in that moment.
Yeah. The first game, I was definitely really nervous. I ain't gonna lie, because it was my first game at this level. And I didn't know, everything was happening so fast. We got through the warm-ups fast. And like, it was the very first kickoff coming out of the game. I'm like, everything's happening so fast. I don't know if I'm ready, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. But when they first kicked it off, and I caught the ball and I was running, it felt just like, football always felt when you're a little kid, man. I ain't gonna lie, like,
Yep.
that's how football is really at this level. It's just kids are bigger and maybe a little bit faster, but football is football, man. That's what I always
Football's
tell people.
football,
Like,
man.
it's always gonna be the same thing, just like when you were just a kid. That's exactly how it is. But the
Yep.
first kickoff was kind of like me just getting my nerves out the way. I had a good return. It was probably about like a 30 something yard return on the very first one. So, and then I was like, man, I think I could have returned that one for a little bit more. So I was like, all right, I got some confidence. We went on offense, and like, throughout the game going on offense, I got like the ball a couple times in my hands and I made a play with it. I feel like every time that I touched the ball. So, that was just the biggest thing. And then finally, coming out of the half, they kicked a kickoff to me, and this one I was like, man, I'm ready for this one. I'm like gonna try to take it to the house. So caught it, and I was, I just follow my blockers and just do it like just how you did back in the day, man. When you're
Right.
playing,
One
you're
thing
just a
led
little
to
kid.
another, and down the
Yeah,
sideline
and
he goes,
then
man.
man, I ended up getting caught at like the 4 yard line. Ended up falling at like the 2. I was so hurt when that happened, because they said that UNLV hasn't had a kick return in, I think, 20 years, and so that would
Oh
have been the first
man.
one, man.
See? Hey,
But it's,
etching your name right there in the record books, man, in the history
yeah,
books right there.
I know. That's, well, next year I always got another chance next year, but
Oh, most
and
definitely.
I've been working on the track this off season, trying to get faster so I could finish that run all the way, go to 100 yards all the
Right.
way.
Hey,
But
for
yeah,
people who've
man.
never returned or a punt or a kick, I've never had that feeling. running a full 100 yards is not as easy as it thinks.
Yeah.
I mean, especially take everything you got in you trying to get there. And obviously, you got guys on the field. Again, you already kind of talked about your size, 5'7", 180 pounds. You got guys out there 6'1", 6'2" with a little more stride. You know what I mean?
So exactly. My little legs couldn't go, all the way. They started slowing down on me, and the dude who caught me, he was like 6'1", like he had that long stride. He was a track star too.
Right?
He's
Yeah.
from Florida,
See.
But man,
but you,
no
man,
excuses, man. I got to finish in that box this year. I'm
and you
definitely
will.
getting that box.
You most definitely will. So yeah, like I said, from the first game to kind of the middle of the season, your progression, your receptions, your carries. I mean, you started getting the ball a lot more. You started kind of showing the coaches what you can do, and then you guys come up against Colorado State, to where, okay, it's time. It was go time for you that game. You woke up feeling dangerous that week, and you went for what? Let's say 9 catches, 120 yards, a long of 29. Talk to us about that. I mean, because Colorado State, they came off that game a few weeks prior against Dion and Colorado, and it kind of gave them a run for their money. And so what was your mentality going into that week?
Yeah, I felt like, the previous games before Colorado State, I feel like I wasn't really being, I don't know if I want to say used properly, or maybe I just wasn't touching the ball as much as I would like. And I was low-key getting discouraged, man, I know I could play at this level. I know I could get the ball more. They just need to put me in. And I just had a great week of practice that week. I was going up with coach, watching film almost every day that week. And, we were just having a great practice. I was getting the ball a lot in practice and stuff like that. And so I didn't know how the game was going to go, though, because sometimes you have a great practice and in the game, you don't touch the ball that much. But the very first play of the game on offense, they gave me like a little fly sweep. And, I took it for a first down. I think it was like 12 yards. And so, all I need is just the ball. As soon as I start touching the ball, I get warmed up and I start, the game slows down when you start getting the ball more. And so from there, I feel like I didn't really get the ball much until the end of the second quarter. They right before the half, they started throwing me the ball right before the half, and I was making plays every time I caught the ball. And then coming out the second half, they were like, "All right, Jacob, it's gonna be your time." I think we were down, by like a couple points. Well, they were like, "All right, Jacob, we're gonna give you the ball and we're gonna see what you do." So they started giving me the ball in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter as well. I also had like a couple punt returns too in the game. So I was just, the game was just slowing down for me. I felt like that game really helped me feel like I belonged to play at this level, and I feel like I could be a really good player at this level. So that game was just
that was your breakout game.
My highest. I think
that was your highest receiving total game.
Yeah.
And again, you had return yards and things of that nature. But that was, in my opinion, your breakout game. So, you showing the world and the nation that, hey, even though I'm 5'7", I can come out here, I can ball, I can compete with the best. I mean, you have great routes, you got great hands, you have great speed. So, I mean, it was impressive to see. Like I said, I try to keep up with all the local talent, people who's from my area, and I always try to watch, keep an eye out. You know what I mean? Because again, coming from a small area like we come from, you don't get too many guys. So right now I can name probably about 3 or 4. You, Blake, who went to going to Florida State, another gentleman who went to Elevate, who was at Arizona, the running back, who's actually
Jonah
really
Coleman,
good
he's
too.
now at, University of Washington now.
Transfer to Washington. So
now that's my dog, man. Jonah Coleman. We've been growing up playing 7-on-7 together for Elevate since we were young, and he was a little bit younger playing on my team, on the older team, but he was just a baller, man. So I'm happy for him and everything that he's doing. I hope at UW he's gonna ball out like he always does, man. He's just that type of player. He's a special player.
Physical back. I mean, runs hard, run low to the ground. Watched a few of his games. Guys, it was hard for guys to bring him down.
Exactly.
So again, it's exciting. You know what I'm saying? To finally see guys who've worked hard, who deserve this opportunity to get this shot, to put their names out there, get an opportunity to go to the league. Because at the end of the day, that's the ultimate goal, right? I mean, to potentially have that opportunity, go to the league, get some exposure, set your family up for life, and play the game that you love. So that's also that's impressive, and I love to see it, man. And so I also want to highlight another game that you had, which is your guys' bowl game. Now, what I find interesting with these past few years, the transfer portal, gives a lot of guys opportunities to play. Guys
Mhm.
don't want to sit out the bowl game because they're transferring to a new school.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure how I personally feel about it, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some guys are chasing the dollar signs. Some guys are maybe just chasing to be a part of something, something different.
Yeah.
But in your bowl game, you had 6 carries, 40 yards, and a touchdown, 8 catches for 95 yards, 3 returns for 60 yards, and a total of 195 yards, all purpose.
Mhm.
Again, you showing and highlighting that when the ball is in your hand, you can make plays. You are
Mhm.
very dynamic. And that, I feel like, after the Colorado game, again, things kind of went a little here and there.
Yeah.
You've made a few plays, ended with the season with 3 total touchdowns. But again, in a bowl game, all televised, like majority of your games are, but televised, where everyone has a chance to watch you. I know you had a bunch of family, a bunch of people from back home watching you.
Mhm.
Talk to us about that game.
That game, I ain't gonna lie, I was, really nervous going into that game as well, just because, it was like the first game where I was really practicing that running back, and the coaches were telling me, "You're gonna run the rock this week, man. You ready?" And then they were saying that the safeties are the number one tacklers on the team. They were all big safety. It's the Big 12. This is our
Yep.
first time playing. Well, we played Michigan earlier in the season, but this is like the second biggest team that we're gonna play all year. And so I was like, man, I don't know. They're pretty big, man. But, I started believing in myself throughout practice, seeing that I could really run the rock. But yeah, first play out the gate, first play of the game when we was on offense, it wasn't even supposed to be the first play. He changed it. It was supposed to be like the third play where I get my first touch, but he changed it to the first play. I was like, all right, here we go, man. And so first play out the gate, I got a handoff going to the left. It was like outside zone. And I ended up going, I don't know exactly how many yards I got on the first run. I think it was maybe like 18. I don't know for sure, but it was like a pretty good run. And then, that just gave me a confidence boost. And I was just like, man, I can, this is, like I said, it's just football, man. I'm
It's
ready. Like,
just what,
I'm
yep.
here. Like, here we go. Like, and then, I think like 3 plays later, I ended up catching a ball, like a arrow out. I was like in wing, and I caught an arrow pass, and I took that for like another. I don't know if it was like 20 or I don't know. I don't know the exact yards. I don't be
Yeah.
counting or nothing like that. But I took that for another first down, another good game amount of yards, and we were right there in the red zone. And that just gave me another confidence boost. Like, man, here we go. Like,
Here
I
we
can
go.
play at
Yep.
this level, man. This is gonna be a
Yep.
good game. And then we ended up scoring first drive on Kansas. So, we were having a good game. The offense was, but Kansas offense was a great offense. They were scoring, really good on our defense and stuff like that. But so we were down going into halftime and stuff like that. But coming out of halftime, we really woke up, and the coach started giving me the ball again some more. I got a few more catches, a few more carries, some big runs, and I just was doing everything to help my team, to try to help us come back. And we did coming back. We took the lead for a little bit,
Yep.
and then we were going back and forth, back and forth. I had one big catch. I remember it was like corner route, and I took that. I don't know for how many yards, but it was a big catch. And then, you know, I was actually, what's crazy? I was actually supposed to throw the ball.
Oh, snap.
It was supposed to be a toss play where I catch the ball and I throw the ball. The quarterback ended up forgetting the play. But yeah, it just felt good that I was doing it all, man, and that's how I really hope they use me this year. Just because, like you said, like I feel like whenever I touch the ball and whenever they put the ball in my hands, I feel like I could make something happen positive for the team. I always tell people I'm not really like I'm not the fastest guy on the field. I'm not the strongest guy. I'm not going to give you the 80-yard touchdown, like for, what I'm saying, but I'm going to give you the first downs. I'm like, what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I'm going
And
to,
you
just be
can
at the
bring off one
defense.
of them 80-yard runs as well.
Yeah,
Hey, don't
I know you
discredit
can.
yourself now. You can most definitely make that happen, especially just continue training. You know what I'm saying? Every offseason, get bigger, faster, stronger.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
trust me, because when I watch you play, I'm like, man, you remind me of, you think about it, guys like Darren Sproles, guys who are smaller, but who can
Mhm.
catch, who can return, who are
Yeah.
electric, dynamic with the ball in their hand.
Mhm.
And even I see you like Debo
Mhm.
Samuel, a guy who can take a screen
Yeah.
and make something happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, in my opinion, you're an athlete. Obviously, you
Mhm.
can play running back, you can play receiver, but you are a football player. You are an
Yeah.
athlete. You could play any
Mhm.
position on the field. as long as you work for it and put your mind to it. So
Exactly.
don't discredit yourself on that 80-yarder, man, because you almost took 96 to the crib. So,
Yeah.
so
I
yeah,
mean,
man, and that is awesome to see, man. It was a great game to watch. I mean, again, you have the opportunity to score in that game. I know
mhm.
scoring in college football, especially at the D1 level, it's
Yeah.
probably nothing like it. I mean, you scored plenty of touchdowns in your life. Talk
Mhm.
to you about just that feeling of being at the D1 level compared to a JUCO or things like that.
Yeah, I definitely feel like when you score at this level, when you make a big play at this level, it means a lot more just because, it comes very few. Not to say like you don't make a lot of big plays, but it's just like when you're younger, you make a bunch of, man, you score. I remember I was young, I scored like almost 50 touchdowns in one season. You know what I'm saying? When I was younger, like
Yeah,
third grade. But like when you put the work in at this level that and everybody else is putting the work in, man. There's a lot of preparation and stuff that goes into at this level, and when you're playing against other good teams, it's hard to make a big play. You watch these college games, it's you know what I mean. It's these games are good games. The defense is good and the offense is good. There's a lot of times where big plays don't happen and stuff like that. So
right.
when you make a big play at this level, it just feels really good. I remember my first touchdown against Vanderbilt. That was my first touchdown of the season. It was the third game of the season. I had a post route, and then just like it was a very close game too. We were actually down, and then he threw it to me. I ran the post route quarter. I seen the quarterback looking at me. He threw it to me, caught it, and I was like 5 yards away from the end zone. Ended up running the rest of the way, and then like that feeling is just crazy, man. You hear the crowd at that level is there's a lot more people at this level cheering for you, and just it just I just thought of my parents and stuff. They were watching the game and
Yeah,
things like that. Like it just uh it's just different at this level, man, because
yeah.
the stage is a little bit
Stakes
bigger.
are higher.
The people are yeah, the stakes are higher, the people are better. So when you make a play at this level, it really means a lot to your team and things like that. It could really help your team win and stuff like that. So scoring that touchdown felt really good. It was my first touchdown, and it helped us win the game and stuff like that. So just making a play at this level it just means a lot more.
Right, right. No,
Hmm.
most definitely, man. And so let's say, for instance, you're talking to the kids who are watching this interview and the younger kids who are like you. What would you say? What would you say like they need to do to potentially get to where you are from the classroom to the field? Like, talk about that preparation because I'm not 100% sure what your grade point averager is like that, but I know school is never easy,
Hmm.
especially as you get older. Some people just have it. Some people
Yeah.
just give the pen and paper and they're just A's, A's, A's. I'm not sure
Hmm.
if that's how you were as a student. I most definitely wasn't like that. So I know it took me a little bit more preparation, outside of school, either on breaks and things like that, taking advantage of the time you have and the
Yeah.
resources. So talk to the kids and let them, kind of tell them how hard it is, to be a
Yeah.
real student athlete.
Um, I was kind of always the kid that I got pretty good grades in class, and it wasn't just because I was the smartest though. It was I feel like you really gotta just you gotta sacrifice things. You know what I'm saying? You gotta oh, don't go to the go out and play football outside if you got a big assignment coming up, and all these teachers really care about is more your work ethic and your
Right,
responsibility. You just got to handle responsibilities, and you got to sacrifice stuff all the time, man. Even when it comes to on the field, you got to work hard. A lot of people, even at this level, if you would believe it or not, like they come, do what they have to do, and they cut, man. They leave, and
right.
they
The
you
bare
got to
minimum.
come and stay extra if you want to be, the top players, on your team, the top players in your area, the top player in the nation. You got to put in the work. I'm telling you, man. There's
Right.
billions, millions of kids out there that want the same spot, that want the same thing you
Got
do.
the
You got
same
to be
goals.
doing. You got to be doing what they're not doing, or at least be doing what they're doing. If you're trying to chase, one thing I used to watch a lot, like I said, I wasn't the fastest kid always growing up. I was pretty quick, but never the fastest. I wasn't the, shiftiest, but I learned. I would watch people who are better than me, and I would just watch everything they do, try to copy exactly what they do. Because, if you want to learn from somebody who's you just got to be a student of the game is really what I'm trying
Yep.
to say. You got to
Yeah.
watch somebody who's better than you at something and do what they do. And then if it comes to someone that's in the classroom, if you know, ask them for help. You know what I'm saying? Always be
Right.
asking teachers and never be afraid to, ask people for help or ask people for something. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people have too much pride in their hearts nowadays. I would just say, man, just admit to yourself when you're not good at something and try to perfect that by asking people, working out with people. If you're not good at school, I ask somebody how to do this. Let's study together. If somebody's faster than you, hey, bro, who did you work with? Like, how did you get so fast? Let's hit the track sometime. Hey, bro, like your routes, like you run, you have good releases. Like you know how to really run a route. Like let's work, let's put some work in.
Yep.
Hey, quarterback, let's put some work in. You know what I mean? You just always
Yep.
constantly got to be learning. You always got to be just a student of the game. I feel like it's the biggest thing, and hard work, honestly, is the biggest thing. You cannot be
And being
afraid to
coachable,
work
hard
hard,
work,
man.
being coachable. You know what I
Hey,
mean? Because you
yeah.
got a lot of guys out here who are very talented, who
Hmm.
think my talent's just going to take me. I don't need this coach to tell me
Bro,
nothing. But
I
coaches and
know the most
scouts and
talented
people, they look
people.
at those type of things.
Exactly. I know the most talented people, even at this level, who just do the minimum average thing and just, you know what I mean? They could be one of the best players like I ever seen because they're so athletic, so big, so strong, but they don't care. They just
Right.
hope that their talent just takes them the rest of the way. But in reality, man, you gotta work. You gotta work hard in this game, man, if you want to be
If
at
you
the
want
top.
it.
I remember my girl used to get mad at me, man, because I used to be at the house and I'm like, man, I didn't put any work in today. So I would go outside and just start running sprints in the middle of the street, man, like just trying to learn things, like just trying to do stuff like that. And, that was just me, man. I'm always just, trying to get better. I'm always mad at myself if I miss a day of training or workout. And I'm just like, man, I got to do something. I got to go train with somebody. My girl knows, like, she hates it, man. Like, this dude don't ever take a break, man. I think I took like 3 days off after the bowl game before I really started going back and training already for the next season. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's just you always got to be a constantly student of the game, constantly working, man. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Just continue to. You just gotta. People, you just can't make excuses, really, man. There's enough hours in the day. There's
Either
enough
you
time in
want
the
it or
day
you
to
don't.
do what you got to do.
Right. No, yeah, man, and again, that's a testament to it. I was gonna, if I had to say it, I would have said it just like that. It's about
Hmm.
working hard, sacrifice. I feel like is one of the biggest things. Putting down certain things. Don't go to that party. Just being coachable, a student of the game, and really wanting and going after it. But
Hmm.
having to sacrifice, I feel like is one of the hardest things. That's some things that people don't want to do. They don't want to sacrifice, their old habits or things that it's just difficult for them. So
Hmm.
before we kind of conclude, there's a few more questions I want to ask you in regards to your goals to next season. You will
Hmm.
be a senior next year. So speak to us about your goals and kind of your things that you want to achieve next year, before you make that leap to hopefully the league. Because that's what, when I look at you, I'm like, hey, he has all the talent in the world. Just got to keep working, keep being coachable, keep doing what you've been doing. And that goal is obtainable for you.
Hmm.
So speak to us about the goals of next year that you have for yourself, things that you want to accomplish individually and as a team.
Yeah, I would say, one goal, we talked about it earlier. One goal that I really want to have is I want to have at least five special teams touchdowns, return touchdowns, whether that be punt return or kick return. I feel like I had a lot of opportunities last year where I could have gotten the end zone. So I don't think that's too far fetched of a goal. I think that's a realistic goal. And I've been working towards it. I've been getting on the track trying to get faster and stuff like that. Also working in the weight room trying to get bigger so I could break a tackle, go all the way, you know. Another goal I want to have, I was second team All American this year. I want to be first team. I
Heck
want to
yeah.
be working hard to that goal to where I could be first team. And then also, I don't want to be seen as just a return man. I play receiver. I could play running back.
Mm-hmm.
I either want to be, either like all purpose player of the conference or maybe, first team receiver in the conference. You know what I mean? I didn't get any accolades for my position as a receiver this year, which was different for me. But being able to be a second team All American punt returner, it felt good. But I play other positions, and I'm not just a return man. You know what I mean? I could be
Right.
receiver, I could be a running back. So I want to get an accolade in either of those positions. You know what I mean? So those are my biggest goals going into this next season is, score 5 special teams touchdowns, be first team All-American in return, and then, try to be all conference in one of those positions, either receiver or running back, whatever it is, maybe all
Heck
purpose,
yeah.
whatever it is. So, and, obviously I want to, make it to the NFL. That's my biggest dream. So maybe another goal for me was to be either make like one of the All-Star games, like the East and West All-Star game or the Reese's Bowl game, play in one of those games. I feel like that gives you a good chance to go to the
Heck yeah,
NFL.
man. Heck, hey, as long as you believe it, you work
Mhm,
for it, you will achieve it, man. I see it. I see it happening. All the things
mhm,
that you said, I can see you most definitely having a really breakout season this year at UNLV, and I'm excited to watch you. I know your family and all your friends back at home as well are excited to see the steps that you take, and it's an exciting time. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So obviously you're a Northern California guy. I'm more of a Raider than a Niner.
Uh-huh.
Who you got? Who you got in the Super Bowl?
I am a Raider fan as well. And so
That's
it's
what I'm talking
hard to
about.
go for either of these teams that you're going for in
Yeah,
the Super Bowl because, Kansas City's in our division and the Niners are, our arch nemesis. That's our rival
yeah.
right there. Um, I would say I already know my answer. It's I hope the Chiefs win. I ain't gonna lie. I hope the Chiefs win. I know, we're supposed to be rooting for the Bay. We're NorCal guys, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? But I
But
can
they don't.
never cheer for
But
that
people who
team,
are
man.
from here and who
Huh?
don't understand that Niner
Yeah.
rival, they won't
Hmm.
get it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm the same
No,
way. I'm
they.
like, can't stand the Chiefs. Most
Yeah.
definitely can't stand the Niners. Gotta go with the Chiefs, man. Gotta go with
Yeah.
Mahomes. You know what I mean?
The Niner fans already talking crap. They already saying, "Oh, we
Yeah,
playing in y'all stadium in the Super Bowl." I ain't heard nothing from the
man.
Chiefs fans, man.
Right.
Hey,
Ironically, I
I'm
got a
hoping
cousin who's
Patrick
a Chiefs
Mahomes
fan,
and Travis
so
Kelsey do their thing. Taylor Swift, I want to see her holding the trophy after the game, man. Whatever, man. And my
right.
daughter, she a big Taylor Swift fan, so she. But
Yeah, that's
yeah, I'm
funny,
going for
man.
the Chiefs all the way.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, same here, man. Well, hey, Jake, I most definitely appreciate you giving me this opportunity to interview you, talk to you. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite some time. And to be honest with you, you're my very first interview. So I much appreciate it. And I want to just say, be on the lookout for Sports Blitz Media.
Yeah.
And we're going to be on the lookout for Jacob De Jesus. Man.
All right, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I really thank you for having me on this show, man. Sorry for talking too much. I know I talk a lot, but
No,
thank
not at
you.
all. I know you got things to do. I know you got the family. I know you got
Mhm.
class and things like that coming up. So I don't want to hold you. I want to make sure you can go eat your lunch or do whatever you need to do before you got to go to class. But we will most definitely talk again, man. Most definitely.
All right, for sure, man. Thank you. Have a
Heck
good
yeah.
one.
I appreciate you, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the very first installment of Sports Blitz Media talking to the University of University of Nevada, Las Vegas, future star athlete Jacob De Jesus. I want to appreciate for everyone who was watching. These will be up on YouTube. Please follow me on Instagram at Sports Blitz Media. Please stay tuned for future videos. I actually have another interview coming up with the UFC fighter. So please be on the lookout for that. And I appreciate everybody who's about to start supporting your boy. Much love.